If you would like to be a kid for the kids' sermon, come on up. I see you, Jasmine. Where's Miss Caroline? Oh. All right. Do y'all want to sit or stand? Okay. Y'all do what you want. If you want to, y'all want to take a seat there, or you want to stand?
She's gonna go get her.
She's gonna go get her. Oh, good. Well, I'll go ahead. Here, yeah. We can all just sit. I have to stand because they have to hear me. If y'all just want to gather around right here. Well, so some of you guys know from Facebook that I got to go to New York City this week. Yeah, why? Because for my Christmas present, I was given a ticket to see To Kill a Mockingbird on Broadway with Jeff Daniels. We got to go on the second night of opening. Oprah was there. She sat nowhere near me. I was telling Phil we couldn't see all of the stage, but it was an amazing show. But before we did that, see, we're nerds, and it's okay to be a nerd. So what we did before the show was we went to all of these churches that we've heard about our whole lives, but two Texas kids never thought they'd get to see. So we went to Riverside Church. Come on. You want to sit down with everyone? Do y'all know each other? Who's this? What's your name? Caroline. And what's your name? And what's your name? And what's your name? And I'm Holly. I'm so glad y'all are up here with me. So, gals, we were in all of these churches, and we'd heard of this one church. It's called the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. And I went, and I thought it was a Catholic church. Turns out it's an Episcopal church, or kind of even a non-denominational church, but I think they're most squarely in line with the Episcopalian church. And you see, it was giant. It was huge, and it was gorgeous. And we were so impressed, and we thought how much money this must take. And we just thought, wow, it's such a joy to be in this place. You know, we saw this tree that they had put up. It was kind of like our Christmas tree. They had several Christmas trees. And this one Christmas tree was called the Peace Tree. And they had these fabulous little origami birds all over the tree that they had collected from around the world. And as I got to talking to the people who were showing us around and who were members of that congregation, I decided that what made this church so amazing wasn't how beautiful it was or how old it was or how glorious it was the people. Because I asked them, I said, you know, can I buy some of those little birds to take to the kids at my church? And they said, no, we're so sorry because they're from all around the world. We've been collecting them, and that's kind of our deal. That's our big deal. And the guy said, but how many kids do you have? And I said, oh, a handful. And he said, tell you what, people light these candles for the tree of peace. Why don't you take them a candle? So I said, that's very cool. So I have these candles for you guys. These are from New York City. And they taught me that what you do is it doesn't matter what church you go to, how perfect things are, how beautiful things are. It's what you take away from that church. It's the light, the peace, the joy, the hope. And so I was hoping that we could do two things today. Now, for parents, I'm going to give your kids candles. Make sure that you only light these in the presence of your parents, okay? Sarah, I know you got this one. But we're going to light these guys. Y'all want to come help me? We're going to, y'all are going to take those, but you're going to take something. You're going to take hope and peace and joy out into the world. And so I'm going to show you all this video. Y'all want to crowd around it? Isn't it good? And I'll describe it for y'all. You guys want to picture it? So, we have love and hope and joy from a church in New York City, and we're here in Wilmington, Delaware, and we can be like the friends of the porcupine, right? We can give of ourselves, we can believe and love and share it with everyone we see, and even people we don't know. And so today after church, we're going to send a prayer and a picture and hope and joy and peace to California, and to North Carolina, all from, this is not to scale, Delaware. So if y'all would like to decorate these, and my North Carolina one got messed up, so I had to draw it on the back. But would y'all like to decorate these while I talk to the other church with your faith, hope, and love sent from Wilmington, Delaware to the other places in the world? Thank y'all so much. What y'all missed is that there was a little porcupine, and he was new to his school, and they wanted to be friends with him, and they wanted to push him on the swing, but they couldn't push him like they were pushing their other friends because he was a porcupine, and it hurt him. And they couldn't sit next to him on the bus because when there was a bump, his quills would hit them. They couldn't be friends with him. They tried to play soccer with him, but the soccer ball deflated when it hit one of his quills. Then, friends gathered and they gave him a gift, but the gift was just filled with packing peanuts. He was sad again. And then they started sticking the packing peanuts all over his quills. And then he was able to ride on the bus, to play soccer, to be friends, to be hugged. He was able to be a part because all the other little animals came together to make sure that he could be a part. And so that's what y'all missed. And as I told everyone, so I put this on Facebook. If y'all want to watch it, please feel free to watch it. It's on our Calvary site. So now let us turn to the Word of God from Luke. He said, therefore, to the multitudes that came out to be baptized by him, you brood of vipers, who warned you to flee from the wrath to come? Bear fruits that benefit repentance, and do not begin to say to yourselves, we have Abraham as our father. For I tell you, God is able from these stones to raise up children of Abraham. Even now the axe is laid to the root of the tree. Every tree, therefore, that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. And the multitudes asked him, what then shall we do? And he answered them, he who has 2 coats, let them share. And he who has food, let them do likewise. The tax collectors came to be baptized and said to him, "Teacher, what shall we do?" And he said, "Collect no more than you're supposed to." And the soldiers asked him, "And what shall we do?" And he said, "Don't rob anyone. Don't be violent. Don't have false accusations. Just be content." As the people were in expectation and all the men questioned in their hearts concerning John, whether perhaps, "Is this the Christ?" And John answered them, "I am not. I baptize you with water, but he who is mightier than I is coming, the thong of whose sandal I am not worthy to untie. He will baptize you. His winnowing fork in his hand, clear the threshing floor and gather the wheat into his granary. In the shaft he will burn unquenchable fire." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. So last week I was on a quest to find colored marshmallows. You see, I needed these colored marshmallows for the cookies you all ate. It's my mom's recipe, and she calls it stained glass Christmas cookies. And we only make them at Christmas time because they look like stained glass and it's Christmas time. And of course, you can't use white marshmallows because then it wouldn't be stained glass. But the state of Delaware and 2 grocery stores in Pennsylvania were dead set against ruining Christmas. Couldn't find them. Finally, I decided on a whim to stop into the Dollar General. That one right there, as close as can be to me. And behold, Dollar General saved Christmas. And as I was walking to the register with like 20 pounds of colored marshmallows, there was a boy and his grandmother. He saw a bin of toys and he was kind of peering into it like any kid does when there's a box of toys. And his eyes were big and hopeful. And his grandmother said, "Those aren't for you. Those are for kids who ain't got none." And his face fell. I've seen kids get told no. Kids who already have 1 million of those at home. But this kid wasn't one of those kids. This kid wasn't one of those kids. And my happy, colored marshmallow world fell apart. Because to me, he looked like exactly one of the kids that could be the recipient of one of those toys. It was a humbling, check yourself kind of moment. One with perspective and gut-wrenching realizations. Well, this is a check yourself kind of scripture. That's what John is asking us to do today. To check what we're doing, to change our perspective, and then to take some realizations home. But too often preachers, and I was looking at my sermons in the past, I did it too, have boiled this scripture down to a simple moment to encourage or maybe even chastise the haves into feeling sorry or guilty for the have-nots. We like to do that, especially around Christmas time. That somehow makes us feel better, right? Even feeling guilty somehow makes us feel better. But to do that would be to fall further into the pit of vipers. It would further separate us from one another. It would put quills on us. It would say that this passage is only for the haves, for the tax collectors, for the soldiers. But the gospel, every single bit of the gospel, that's for all of us. At Dollar General, after his grandma told him he couldn't have a toy, even with disappointment on his face, that adorable, amazing child said, "Are we going to put one in?" That's it. I'm done. That's what John the Baptist wants us to say. Are we going to put something in? We have needs and wants, but are we going to put something in? Are we so excited about what's in that box that we want to add to it, even if we don't know how we're going to do it? Most of the folks that have gathered to be baptized by John have come because they want the next best thing, right? The Elmo 1994. They deserve this. They aren't even sure what it is. Might as well try it out. Brood of vipers who want the privilege of claiming the toys without wanting or needing the contents of the box. At this point, you may be wondering why this passage was paired with the Sunday that we're supposed to be celebrating joy. Well, John has to start us out slowly. he has to tell the soldiers, don't lie, just do your job. And he has to tell the tax collectors, don't cheat, only take what you're supposed to. It's hard for them to process to get what can I put in. So they have to start out even, right? It's hard to process to get to that true joy. But that's what he's doing to them. He is looking at people who don't stop to see what it's all about. He's looking at people who don't know how to stop and play with the toys they have. He's looking at people that do not know joy. I met a guy who asked me if I was a good Presbyterian or a bad one. And I said, well, I think I'm one of the good ones. But what do you mean? He said, one of those Presbyterians, one of those that lets everyone in. And I said, yeah, I'm one of those Presbyterians. He scoffed at me, and I said, and which church do you go to? He said, nah, I don't go to church, but I am a Christian. Well, he might not have been a brood, but certainly a Viking. A person who showed up to the river, to the box of gifts, expecting not to have to change or think or learn, just adamant that this was his and his to keep. Why bother calling yourself a Christian if you don't gather with others? If you don't gather to talk, to learn, to put something in? We have to want. We have to want what's in the box so badly that we know how amazing it is to be able to put something in it. That's true joy. The true joy of a Christ child being born as a king. You do not have to be wealthy. You do not have to have a coat to give. You just have to know the delight of getting to call yourself a follower of Christ because you know how it changes you. Because once we're deeper into it, once we don't have to be told, don't lie, don't cheat. Once we've got that, we get to go further. We get to dig deeper, and then we get to start problem solving. That's when we put styrofoam on the end of quills so everyone can get in. Because being church isn't just stained glass and a cathedral in the middle of New York City. Being church isn't how beautifully we do things. Being church is showing up, even at Dollar General, to see God in action. Being church is taking what we do and sending it out there. It is not ours to hoard. It is ours to light the way. It is ours to bring out. That's joy. May you proudly be one of those Christians.